Hello, everybody. Welcome to season 2 of the Chaoticpubcast. Oh my God, we actually made it through 10 episodes. We actually made it mostly through the last episode of
I barely made
which
it
was
through the last episode.
I know. Oh my God, guys, this is welcome. We're in season 2, guys. What's
we
up?
are in season 2.
Yeah.
It
The
feels
greatest
different.
sequel ever.
I miss season.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. I miss season 1 and season 1 Ryan and season 1 Z though.
October
I like
Z.
them better.
I guess I should say this. I'm Z Diggity. I'm one third of the host of the Chaoticpubcast. I'm joined by Ryan Damas.
Howdy.
I'm joined by Mr. J.
That's what I say.
Hey, I'm stealing your lines. You can't do anything about it.
No, I'm talking about Ryan. He said howdy. What the hell?
What the hell? Well, what's up, guys? How was your? We took about 2 weeks off to kind of recharge, recalibrate, and figure this out. We're on. I don't know if you know, for those who are on the YouTubes or any video viewing platform, you can see our faces now. So
Sadly,
I actually have to be self-conscious about what I do.
I can't pick my nose while I
now.
record anymore.
I know, and I have to put a shirt on. Yeah. I mean, and I'm not usually I would wear a black tank top or stuff because out of comfort, but I'm still self-conscious of my noodle arms right now. So.
We're lucky. We were lucky in season 1 if Z put on a shirt to record.
Or pants or any clothes.
Well, it's a good thing y'all couldn't see the bottom half of the camera because y'all didn't want to see that.
No.
I was wondering what those motions you were doing while we were talking with.
Oh yeah, don't worry about this. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was researching.
I was flogging my meat.
I was doing research.
You were doing research, yeah. Not me. Not me. Well, cool. That's awesome. So yeah, season 2 of the Chaoticpubcast. This will be 100% on video now. So yeah, check us out on the YouTubes. Do you guys have any news that's happened in the past 2 weeks that we've been rocking? Jay, you want to go first?
Okay.
Yeah,
I just, what's funny? I didn't have any news up until maybe an hour and a half before we started recording. I got hit with this article saying Oscar Isaac's Marvel contract ends with Moon Knight.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
there's no future plans for Moon Knight?
As of now, I guess not. Let's see. As of whenever this article was published, which was today at 6:10 p.m. Central Time.
Interesting.
So
wait, is that suspect that they're going to kill him off in the season 1?
Well, we need to mark this as spoilers now. Yeah.
And how long are the how many seasons do we get of him?
Oh, here you go. You know what? This is why reading is important, right? He does have a long-term contract in place to continue to appear in the films or shows. But I guess there's not going to I guess there was no plans to renew the Moon Knight season. The show.
So it's just to jumpstart him into the MCU.
Maybe, yeah.
And then, yeah, okay.
A la Hulk,
gotcha.
Where he has not had his own of anything.
I guess they'll just see how it pans out, and if he is kind of a hit, they'll probably come back and do a season 2 or something. There's just no set plans right now.
Yeah.
Episode 1 was pretty cool. I mean, it didn't blow me away like some of the Disney Plus shows, but I liked it. I'm excited for more.
Yeah.
I mean, are we getting to the point with MCU content that is it too much content at this point? Are we just getting a little about it now? Or
I can never have enough of it.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. I'll watch everything they put out, right? But I see what you're saying. Is it getting to the point where you almost can't be super excited because there's just one more thing right around the corner? But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm still mostly there.
I think personally, what I look forward to is just how it ties into what's already going on.
Yeah,
that's what hooks me on, to see how how Moon Knight is gonna interact with the rest of the Marvel universe, and that's what I look forward to in almost just about any Marvel show that comes out.
I mean, I guess, I don't know, they probably have everything in place of what their plans are. They probably have mitigation for everything that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're 30 movies in, we kind of have to change the way we do things. So, Ryan, do you have any news?
All right, so I think I told you guys the other day, but that there is a rumored a new Xbox console coming out. A guy was going through Microsoft stuff and found a new code word, which is Xbox Keystone, which, as we know, when the One X came out before, or whatever is called Series X, it was like Project Scarlet or whatever. And so there's a lot of, most people think it's going to be like kind of a re-release, kind of like the One X and the One S and stuff. But there's also rumors out there, and like what I told you guys, I thought was more of like a streaming box, like cloud gaming. And I think that's really the smartest move at this point, with chip shortages and not being able to stock shelves with, their regular consoles. The other rumor out there is that it might be their long overdue VR headset, but as we know, Phil Spencer like hates VR and never wants to get into the space. So I really doubt it's that. But there's also the chance it could be something new, but I doubt they would do it this soon.
I don't know, because as far as I know, Xbox is kind of behind in the console war, and like maybe a bold stroke like that might actually put them back on the map. Like I don't know. Like I guess technically, like I'm right as of right now, I'm more of Xbox because I use Xbox Game Pass.
I was gonna say, like, is Xbox really behind though? Because that Xbox Game Pass is kind of dominating. Like a lot of things are trying to mimic what the Game Pass is doing, but it's kind of hard, especially recently with PlayStation just recently announcing their quote unquote version of the Game Pass, which is
whatever. And there's like tiered.
Yeah, like that like I don't know. I just love the simplicity of Xbox. Is like I saw the multi-tier thing. I don't know if that's going to work, but I guess I won't believe it. We'll see it. I guess we'll see how it pans out is what I meant to say. So I guess I had the only news that I really have. I've been hella busy. Like my 2 weeks were pretty hectic and busy still, but the news that I dropped that I apparently was late to the party in the Discord this morning was the Kenobi got delayed for 2 days, but we get 2 episodes at launch. Like,
yeah, I'm excited about that.
That's a good deal.
I'll wait an extra 2 days for an extra episode.
I just love that, like, they're like so apologetic. They're like, "We're sorry you have to wait the 2 extra days, but we're gonna make up for it. We'll give you an extra episode." I was like, bro, if you wouldn't even give me an extra episode, I would have been like, all right, cool. Like, I can wait. But more days.
It's Ewan McGregor telling us that, so we're like, it's okay, man. It's okay, Luke. It's okay.
Ooh, and don't worry about it at all, man. Like, we're on your team.
Yeah, and then he was like, "I hate you," and he made a sizzling sound like this. Anything that man says, I'll be 100% on board.
Yeah.
So today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite urban legends. This is about, and I'm a huge fan of urban legends, but this is one of my more favorite ones. It's about Polybius, video game urban legend. It's about an arcade box that was placed in Portland, Oregon, in 1981, and there's a gaggle of rumors, speculation. The Men in Black are involved in this, not the ones from the movies, but the actual Men in Black. It's a really cool story.
Oh, it's not the ones from the movies?
No, it's not Will Smith.
Now what I read makes so much more sense.
Keep that Men in Black stuff out of your fucking mouth.
It's got the Wasp comment.
I had to do one Will Smith joke at their point.
It's still relevant, right?
But it's still relevant right now, and the memes will be going forever. So, but it's one of my favorite urban legends. There's people have claimed, like, a lot of people are leaning to that it's not true, but it's still very fun to like speculate and talk about. But I honestly think that some of the evidence, like, are you sure? Like, because some of the evidence they present, it's very hearsay about it. People they're saying people are confusing it with another game. It was in 1981 before all of us had the internet and super phones and everything. So there's a lot more of he said, she said. But I'm gonna hurry and give a quick read through of what the Polybius is, and then I just kind of want to hear your guys' opinions on it. But Polybius is an urban legend concerning a fictitious 1981 arcade game. The legend describes the game as part of a government-run crowdsourced psychology experiment based in Portland, Oregon. Gameplay supposedly produced intense psychoactive and addictive effects in the player. These few publicly staged arcade machines were said to have been visited periodically by the Men in Black for the purpose of data mining the machines and analyzing these effects, allegedly. All these Polybius arcade machines disappeared from the arcade market. The urban legend has persisted as a topic of interest for video games, journalism, and through continued interest. It has served as inspiration for free and commercial video games by the same name.
So Scott the Wasp has a video on
an old video.
What is the name of his game? Polybius. I keep wanting to say another word that could get us into trouble. Not really.
How do you say it? How do you say it in Spanish?
Polybius? I don't know how to say Polybius in Spanish. I just keep wanting to say polygamy. I keep wanting to say polygamy.
You could say polygamy.
I don't think that's a bad word.
I don't think it's a bad word, but I don't
think we're gonna get TOS for polygamy.
No, I don't think we're gonna get TOS for polygamy.
Well, I keep wanting to say polygamy instead of
You know what? Just go with that.
What was it called again? Polybius. So Scott the West has a video on Polybius. I don't know if you've seen it or not. He kind of talks about it a little bit. He gives a little rundown that he kind of similar to what you just did, and then he just shits on it for the rest of the video.
Yeah. And a lot of YouTube, because the AVGN did it too, and he was doing his AVGN, but he's like, "Oh, go, have the AVGN," and like I'm more of like I'm a huge I speculate on everything. Like I'm the guy that doesn't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in demons. I don't believe in anything spiritual. But I am very obsessed with them because I want shit to be true. So it's so this is just a story that really fascinates me.
We should make a ghost episode one day.
Yeah. We'll play a few rounds of Phasmophobia before we record.
Hell yeah.
But,
what do you think, Ryan? Like
I think it's super cool. I love like creepypasta type stuff. And so I think I heard like a little bit about this before, but I never really like looked into it. But preparing for this, I went like down a rabbit hole of information, and it is really cool. It's almost like one of those Mandela effect type things, right? Like where people think something existed or whatever that didn't actually. But I mean, the thought process that the CIA would like do something like this and then make it just disappear is not really that far-fetched, right? Like especially before the internet was really much of a thing and there wasn't a lot of documentation widely available and stuff like that. I mean, I totally I give into the conspiracy a little bit. I mean, just for fun, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, it's not so out of the ordinary. The story is not so out of the ordinary that it's totally, because I would totally, and don't get me wrong, I don't read into the government that much. I really don't give a fuck what they do, but I wouldn't put it past the government to like during the rage of video games, because this was before the 1983 video game crash.
Yep.
It was 1981, so it was starting to like grow. So I wouldn't put it past them to put some sort of like test with this new technology that was video games and everything.
Well,
so
I will remind you, like after the Cold War, running from like all the way up to 73 was MK Ultra, right? And that was basically the same idea as this, but with like LSD and different other psychological experimentation and stuff. And so to think that they would maybe try to like revive their efforts a little bit 8 years later doesn't sound that far-fetched to me, because it's very similar to what we know about MK Ultra. And MK Ultra is not a conspiracy, right? There's like thousands and thousands of pages of documentation from the Freedom of Information Act that like it's really out there. So I wouldn't put it past our government whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, so this article right here says, which, to cite the source, I am just literally on the Wikipedia page here.
That doesn't count as a source, but I get
it doesn't. It's an urban legend.
One thing I learned from school: Wikipedia is not a source.
It's a source now. It's
like
I'll go to another
source, but it's not a source. Look, that's what my teachers would tell me.
This episode is not APA or MLA.
I'll go to a source of some random douchebag YouTuber reading the same shit that I'm reading and just putting it in a video. How about that?
Angry video game nerd, video game historian.
Yeah, video game historian. Okay, so Dunning records at the Federal Bureau of Investigation raided several video arcades in the area just 10 days late. Where the hold up, I
You
gotta
could
catch
at
up. Where
least
the
do it
owners
in your own
suspected of using
words, you know.
machines. Shut up. No, no, I'm reading. I'm reading. I'm reading. Basically, they're saying that there are FBI raids and shit.
Welcome to another episode of
And
the Chaotic Wikipedia Reads.
the chaotic Wikipedia reads, right?
Today we're going down a polygamy rabbit hole. I mean,
do you guys like? First off, do you guys know like how you guys have heard of like the Men in Black, like the actual Men in Black that are deal with a lot of like paranormal.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that aspect because the owner of this arcade in Oregon actually he claimed that they came in, they brought the arcade, and then a bunch of people played it, and then they would make frequent visits to like get something from the machine. But like one thing that I read earlier today was that they weren't collecting quarters.
They would never collect the coins out of them. They would just hook up a little device to the motherboard to get data off of it.
Yeah,
in the late 80s, early 90s,
early 80s, 81. And then so reports would come in after we'll say for the sake of it, like maybe like a month after or so, there were reports of kids that the legend says there were reports of kids like getting migraines, getting sick from playing this game, going mad, getting psychosis from it. All these stories about it. And again, this is in the 80s. Where I do, because you remember being like a kid and being like, hey, I heard Jerry and Rachel kissed, when in reality, like it's just such rumor spreading because the information is just not easily accessible.
Yeah, there was a guy that came out as what is it, Stephen Roach, I think, and he said that he was a developer for it, and it was really like he was just trying to like weasel his way into the story. Like he provided no evidence or anything, but he was saying basically they were trying out some new development techniques for video games on that game, and then once they got reports of like what was happening to people and like all these psychological effects and physical like illness stuff that was coming with it, they were like quickly like pulled the plug on it, pulled out the machines, destroyed the code, destroyed the software. But like I said, he never provided like, you know, like a pay stub that like he worked for this company or like any kind of documentation that he did anything. So it definitely seems false, but it was cool. I mean, even though most of the stuff that's come out about this is false or can't be proven, I should say, it's just still like it adds to the lore a little bit. It's kind of cool.
That's why, like, when people say it is debunked, you know, there's no code for the game, there's no record of the game. You know, it's very like it's easy for a skeptic mind to be like, well, then it doesn't exist. But I just think the same could be said on the opposite end of the argument. There, you know, it's
so there are people who have like reimagined or like what the game what supposedly was, and they've like re-released it in flash form and like all kinds of stuff. And I actually played it right before we recorded tonight, and I will say it did give me a headache.
Did it?
It was very like if I had any little sense of epilepsy, that shit would have took me out.
Oh my god! I kind of want to like share it on the screen and see what it looks like.
It looks bad, but
it looks bad. I don't want to give any of the people actually watching our first. I don't want to give anybody seizures.
And then we'll be Polybius.
We'll be Polybius, the Polybius
So I was going down different sites, right, looking into this, and one of them that I like a lot is the creepypasta fandom page. And one reason I love it, it's never as detailed as Wikipedia, but the comment section is gold, right? And so a lot of the people on here, like they try to like make the story seem real by commenting stuff like, oh, I tried it back in 1967. I had to sign an NDA, and now, oh my God, the Men in Black are here. They're taking me away, and like not finish the sentence. But one guy was like very convincing and wrote like paragraphs. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he basically was talking about how, like they actually put like a little hole like on the left of like where the joystick part was on the arcade machine, and it would like spray pheromones, and they would take some people to like different like research labs and have them try it. And they would, before they introduced the pheromone part, they would like give them a shot in the neck, and their parents would have to sign like NDAs and like agreements or waivers for them to do this. And they would just black out, and they would wake up and like not know what was going on. It's just like, it was just totally out there, but it was cool to read. And he's like naming like actual like Air Force combat control sergeants that were like involved with it and stuff.
So isn't it like that's kind of like that's the mantra of like parents and the parents from the generation of like the 70s and the 60s. There's no warnings or anything or like that. They'd be like, oh, we got to give your son an injection. Do it. I just want my $50 so I can get out of here.
That's what he said. He said I came to, and the first thing I remember was my dad asking when he would get his check, and they said it'd be in the mail in 2 weeks. Or something.
Oh God. All right. So I guess the question. Well, actually, I'll save that for the second half of the episode. But the main thing, like I just think with the culture compared to back then, compared to everybody, we're so globalized now, where urban legends are kind of like harder to come across by, and to see old stories, because this thing started gaining heat in the early 2000s, and to see old stories still be relevant in the age of like I don't know, I'm not 100% sold that this is not true.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100% sold that this is true. So, what about you guys?
I mean, if there's no actual factual evidence, it's kind of hard for me to believe something. That's just for anything, though. That's not just to this. But if there's nothing, no facts, call me a man of science or whatever, but I ain't gonna believe it unless I see it with my own eyes.
Okay. Ryan?
It's one of those things for me, kind of like how you were talking about, ghosts and spirits and stuff like that. Like, except I'm a little more centered on it. Like, it's not that I don't believe or I do believe. I just enjoy like the concept of it itself, right? Like, and then that goes with like any urban legend, creepypasta stuff. Like, I'm not gonna be a staunch like, there's no way, or like, oh, that's totally real. I'm just gonna like enjoy the story of it. It's just lore. It's like watching a Marvel movie. I'm just playing.
Marvel? We got to keep on theme that we always bring up Marvel in
our. No, it's really cool, and I would never stoop so low as to go into religion on our podcast, but I'll just drop it there.
I would never stoop low to bring in religion.
To say about the religions, but it's not podcast episode for it.
We'll do the episode where we totally just piss off half the internet later in the season.
We'll talk about religion.
Speaking of urban legends,
are real.
Speaking of urban legends, Jesus Christ. All right.
Great start to season 2.
So I do want to hear, I want to go into detail about your guys's, I want to know why you believe or don't believe, and I want to hear like some bullet points as to why, like list off some of the things we've talked about in this first half, and I kind of want to dive into it in the second half. Would you guys want to do that?
Yeah, do you want to take a break now and then just do it all in the second half?
Yeah. So before, so we're going to take a little bit of a break here, guys. Before we go, I just want you to listen to /watch, it's probably going to be listening to, this commercial for our Totally Real. I'm being serious. This is a real commercial.
It's gotta be for once.
You know what? I don't believe it.
You know what? I'm a skeptic. It's an urban legend of a commercial at this point. Totally urban legend.
We're talking about a real commercial on the urban legend episode. Come on, Z. Great timing.
You be the judge if this is real or not, guys. We'll see you in the second half.
Please subscribe.
All right, you DGens. We're building our Patreon page, and it's time to figure out what we are giving out to subscribers. I need suggestions. Hit me with them. Go.
Feet pics. Buy us dinner.
Puppies.
Okay, I was thinking something a bit more grounded, something a bit more on the reasonable side. So if you can throw some suggestions that are doable, that'd be great. Attend the Anime Club Nights.
Why don't you jar up your farts and give them to us? How about your firstborn child?
Guys, we're not going to do any of that. So please, for the love of God, give us reasonable Patreon suggestions.
You're a little bitch.
All right, fine. You know what? I will go ask somebody else. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hey guys, Z from Chaoticpubcast here to tell you that making a podcast can be tough. And you know what? It costs money. Well, guess what? We have a Patreon now, a totally real Patreon. I'm not kidding. This is not a joke. The page itself is currently under construction, and we would love your help with building it. If you have any ideas or suggestions for cool, fun rewards for us to kick back to you for subscribing, please let us know. We're open to any suggestion. Just hit us up on our socials. On Twitter, Instagram, our handle is @ChaoticPubcast. If you aren't into social media, that is fine. You can email us at chaoticpubcast@gmail.com. Or if you're really grabbing for straws, hit us up on our Discord, The Chaotic Pub. We look forward to hearing from your suggestions, and welcome to Season 2. Peace, guys. Welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed that totally maybe not real, maybe real commercial. We need your money. So give us your money.
This podcast stuff's more expensive than we thought. I thought I just had to have a mic.
Yeah, and I thought it was just like, I don't know, I thought it was talking into a tin can personally, like back in the 80s. I saw a Karate Kid once. Not Karate Kid, Three Ninjas. Remember in Three Ninjas 1 where they would communicate over the can?
Oh, yeah.
And Rocky loves Emily. But hey, this is a podcast about Polybius. I know it is. Yeah, it is. Hey man, when you go sober, weird shit happens in your head. I'm just saying. We talked about the first half. We opened up with Polybius, and we lightly talked about is this real? Is it not real? Jay, you said you were very skeptic about it. You're somebody who needs the hard facts. So what about this story mostly makes you go like, I don't know?
Well, just the same as with most of other paranormal activity talks. It's just always and I think you said it earlier. It's a he said she said thing. It's never there's no recording of these men in black going into places and doing these things, right? I mean, it's also what the early 80s, so there's not really a way to do it, but that's probably why they say it too, because there's like really no way. We're going off of some guy's word of mouth thing, and I don't know.
So there has been footage caught of the supposed men in black in other instances, though. So they have been.
And then there's the thing with recording where
guys wear black suits.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Like, when it comes to recording, are you really just gonna believe it because you saw it somewhere? Like, it could just be me recording Ryan and Z with black suits going up to a machine, pretending they're doing something, and then walking out all suspiciously. So to me, it's very hard.
Well, now I want to do that.
I mean, we could do it. We could get away with it too.
So one thing about the game that they did mention was this is kind of something that is a typical tall tale story with me. Like, of course they said that because it's in the story. The game was supposedly way ahead of its time with technology. Like the game had way more pixels, more colors, more graphics than any other game, to the point where it was giving people seizures. That's the point where I'm like, okay, now some deliberation. Now elaborations are happening on it for the skeptical side. But I'm not as skeptical as I thought I'd be with it, because usually, like, if somebody says like I saw a ghost, and I'm like, yeah, no, you didn't. But with this, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, Ryan, what makes you a non-believer or a believer?
Yeah, like I said, I would never claim either way. I do lean definitely more towards the non-believer side. just because Snopes says it's false. So no, but seriously, it even talks about it on their Wikipedia page that there was a lot of like games were just starting to like really blow up during that time, and so there was already like magazines about arcade games and stuff like that. There was no mentions of it in like any magazine ever. It was never in any news articles, and there's just no evidence that it ever existed. Like there's been like mock-ups that people have made and stuff, but no one's ever seen one of these cabinets, and no one credible has ever came out and said they played the game. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It there's also people who think it's not so much just like a made up story just for like fun, but maybe it was just more of like some stories that got mixed together. Like there were some reports of people playing like Tempest and Asteroids and stuff like that in arcades and getting sick from it, like stomach pain, migraine, stuff like that. And then you mentioned it earlier in the episode. There was another game. I think it was a machine called Polyplay. I think it was. I can't remember. I read this earlier. But it was basically an arcade box that had like multiple different games on it, basically how we do a bunch of arcade gaming these days. And they said that that's why people couldn't really nail down like what the game was about in their memories, because it was a collection of multiple games.
The company, and I'm probably going to butcher the name of this company. The company is a German company. Do you happen to know the pronunciation on it, Ryan?
Nope.
Because I have a history on this podcast of not pronouncing things.
Well, you're the German one. We discussed this earlier.
I'm a horrible German.
It's Sinneschussen?
Which it translates directly to like wiping the mind, or Jurgen, what's the exact Jurgen, can you look up what the exact translation for this is?
Coming right up.
Thanks, Jurgen.
It comes from the German word Sinne, or something that means senses, and Röschen, which means to extinguish or to delete. I probably butchered both those German words, but basically it means it means like erasing the senses or erasing the mind.
See, it's stuff like that makes me a non-believer on it. It's it's stuff like that definitely tickles like my skeptic side, where it's like really like, to me that is such like a bad movie trope, like where the company, like, the company's name something clearly sinister, or the bad guy's name is Dr. Victor Von Doom.
What did Scott the Waz say? Jay, he was like that'd be like being a serial killer and owning a restaurant that's like killer
coats or something.
Yeah, so that's what kind of like where I'm just like, okay, I do like, so for me, it's like I do want to believe, I do think that this did exist in some form or the other. Whether or not it is what it said it is, like I the way I kind of translate it is that this was, after everything I've read on it, somebody built this game independently, I feel like, or a group of dudes and gals got together and built this independently. They put it like, I think that it's kind of like the story of like anything that has to do with like urban legends. Like, it started from somewhere and it ended up here. I think it might have been just an independent, because there were no laws on video. There's no laws. Like, it was independently built by a bunch of dudes in their garage, I think. And they put it in the arcade, and then maybe it broke and they just took it out, and then everybody just started fabricating this story about it. Yeah. And there were a whole bunch of arcade games. I read this that were operating on. There was one arcade game in particular. There were games that was confused with Polyplay.
I think it was called.
Scott the Waz talks about that
too. And there's a cube game. The graphic, it was
Polybius. Oh wait, no, that's what we're talking about.
That's the name.
That's what we're talking about.
Where have you been?
I finally said it right for once.
You're a little. Jurgen, what's JP right now?
Polyplay, that's what it's called.
You're a little bitch.
Polyplay. That's what I meant to say. Sorry.
Oh God. I just think, like, I honestly think it did exist. Like, I believe, what I officially believe is it did exist. I think it was just a localized game that somebody built, and it just snowballed into this thing. The story we're talking about
Yeah,
now. That's what I believe.
do I believe with my whole heart that like Bigfoot exists or the Loch Ness monster or Slender Man? Like, like no, probably not. Right? Like there's more irrefutable evidence that something doesn't exist than that it does. But it's fun to think about, right? Like it's fun to play within
Yeah,
your
it
mind.
is. Yeah, yeah. We want. I personally want it to be true. I want it to exist. Like, because let's be honest, the world we live in is kind of
Yeah.
lame. It sucks, like, it'd be cool if ghosts existed. It'd be cool if, people could become superheroes. It'd be cool. But like, when you hear that, and I think that's why a lot of people buy into these urban legends, and it's something that they secretly want to be true. Yeah, and I think honestly, people like, to me, it's almost like going to a magic show. You know, you go to see if you can figure it out in a way, or crack the case, because I think secretly we're all kind of detectives in a way.
Somewhat. I mean, yeah, I would say if I went to a magic show, the whole time I'm going to be like, how do you do that? How do you do that? Like, I want to, did he do it like this? But at the same time, like, I'm there for like the sense of wonder. Like, I'm there for the, like, to be awed and to, make you momentarily in your head think there is magic, right? Like, that there is something else. And I think it's the same reading stories like this. Like, I mean, not so much this one, because this one isn't really like out there, but
Yeah.
other urban legends and stuff, you're like, it's just a cool idea to think maybe that does exist. And I think it's the same with the magic show.
So there's a bunch of so I feel like in the capitalist world that we live in, people actually capitalized on this game. So they made a 2007 version, I think, and a 2017 version. Which version did you play, Ryan?
I'll tell you one sec. Shit. I don't know. It's on this Sinneschlossen website. Like, they have a website like that.com, and it has a link to download the game. But it doesn't say like what year when it is.
I see it, and I'm looking at it, and this website looks like it was built on
Yeah.
GeoCities.
It looks like this. It looks like this website has been around since the game was around.
Like, I just want to show it real quick. Yeah. Like, does this website not look suspicious at all?
Right. Hold on. Why does it look different now? Click on it again.
Did I break it? The website?
Yeah, because there's multiple. Oh, click next page. Look, and we can see some pictures of. Keep going.
Oh, The Simpsons did it, so we know it's real.
So they talk about the cabinet. If you click next page, it'll actually show some pictures of what the cabinet probably looks like. It's pretty cool.
So these are replicas.
Yeah.
Or people made
maybe
replicas.
Maybe they're the real ones. We'll never know, I guess.
Gotcha. Maybe. I don't know.
Hey, if you're listening along on Spotify or wherever and you can't see our screen, then go watch it again on YouTube.
We'll post it on our Instagram. We'll post it. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. I'll just put anything that people can't see. I'll just post it on Instagram, or Jake can post it on the Instagram. Jay, you've been pretty quiet over there. You all right?
Yeah. I've just been listening to you guys. Like I said, I know little to nothing about this topic, and
he's already started working on researching the next topic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So all right. I'm going to take a little bit of a pause here, and I'm actually going to stop.
Oh, that's what the game looks like.
Oh, this right here? Hold up.
Yeah, and tell me that it wouldn't be like epileptic, like seizure inducing, just looking at those. And they're not even moving. It's just a bunch of rainbow colors and like hypnosis looking shit and a bunch of geometric colorful shapes that move around. It's just like,
when you played it, what did it play like?
On
or what was the objective
apparently
of the game?
it changes. Like I didn't get very far, probably like 5 minutes or so, but like it kind of played like asteroids ish. Like there was like a little geometric like hexagons and stuff rotating in the middle, and they were like shooting stuff out, and you had a little ship, and you were like supposed to dodge those things and shoot them. But it was, where asteroids, like if I remember right, God, it's been so long, like stuff's like falling from the top or whatever, or maybe I'm thinking Galaga, but you're like shooting stuff and you're just moving in like a straight line back and forth and stuff. This stuff's coming from like every direction and you're going all around the screen, and it's very like nauseating.
All right, that is it for the first episode of our season 2, guys. Thanks for being on video now, guys. It's fucking dope.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah, it's so good. It's good to see you. Wait, I see you guys all the time.
Do you though? Do you really?
But I know I'm like the Disneyland dad that never shows up. I'm sorry. I've made myself the busiest person in the damn world, and it's my own doing, and I apologize. But so when season 2, it's all going to be on video. We will be uploading this content to video to YouTube. We have a YouTube channel, so if you want to catch it now, it's just Chaoticpubcast. Currently, there's no content on it. We're currently building it, but we'd love for you to subscribe right now. I'm going to reiterate that the ad was totally real, that we have a Patreon now. We're building that as well. That is a work in progress. If you wanted to, I don't know how Patreon works. Is it like a follow system?
It's a subscribe. So you have a small monthly fee. Our basic subscription is just like a dollar or two. And it comes with some cool features. We'll be posting some like behind the scenes stuff. We'll be posting some funny stuff we do outside the podcast. You'll also get access to our Discord server. And cool stuff like that. We'll eventually have some merch. Subscribers will get sent out some free merch. So
hell yeah. But check us out on Spotify and where podcasts are found. You can find our socials on Twitter, just Chaoticpubcast, right? Not the Chaotic.
Yep,
I always forget.
Chaoticpubcast.
Mm-hmm.
And that is our Instagram handle as well. If you want to email us with any episode suggestions, chaoticpubcast@gmail.com. And if you're a part of our Discord, or if you're not part of our Discord, join our Discord. It's Chaotic Pubcast. We don't have a place to post.
Shoot us a message,
do we?
We're still we're making some changes to it. So
yeah. All right, guys. It's been real.
All right. Love you guys.
Bye. See y'all next week.